Whew. Good morning. Good
Good
afternoon,
morning.
whenever you're watching this. Hey,
Good day.
Kim. Super happy to see you.
How, good to see. How's this week been?
Well, let's say that whenever you're watching this video, we are still recording this in 2022, and we are still in this ginormous wormhole, and things still are a little, how do I politely say, wackadoodle in its transition. I have noticed so many people that I love and adore are still getting sick. And I don't
Mhm.
mean just COVID sick. I mean, I know, Kim, you dealt with pneumonia. I've got girlfriends with
No,
strep throat.
it wasn't
Oh,
pneumonia, but
what was it?
um, that,
We'll deal with that later.
that's
Anyway, yeah, okay. So I noticed that this transition this summer has really been huge because we got this
mhm.
great big wave of energy coming in. And I do mean a big wave of energy. So, because of this big wave of energy that's coming in, things are changing and transmuting, and we're growing and we're expanding. And wow, so much is happening. So, I thought this morning that when we talked about plant medicine, we'd actually talk about natural remedies.
Ask something, Rachel. Um, because I can say that I'm agitated of late. So,
You are going in and out, but I heard agitated.
ah, problems this morning. Forgive me. Can you hear me
No,
clearly?
I can hear you better now. Yes, yes. So I like how you said that we've been going through some agitated energy, and it's because we're transmuting this energy. It's because things are changing at such a dramatic rate right now. It's not just our normal do 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 do. It's really this higher vibration that's coming in. And so it's making us clear out these old ways. It's making us let go of things that maybe in our psyche or our subconscious that we're just not ready to let go of, and it's being torn down and ripped out, and it does create a dis-ease within our body, which does come in the form of illness, which comes in the form of aggravation, which comes in the form of anxiety. I know myself, I've been um, not staying out of the downward spiral, but being on that rim of getting caught in my own problems or woe is me, when really I know that everything is going to be taken care of.
Hmm.
So, do we have you back?
I, no.
Well, we got the no. We're getting every other second word.
Well, that's
Let's see.
interesting. So go ahead with your.
All right. So I'll start talking and then we'll see how we'll be able to hear Kim again this morning. So, like I said, I thought today we would talk a little bit about natural remedies. And I'm not here to say don't use Western medicine. I am a big, big fan of doctors, of hospitals, of nurses. So grateful for our frontline people. They really, really do help us, and it is necessary. On the other hand, we do have a problem with overtaking prescription drugs And we are going to run into a problem if you already haven't by taking too much um, antibiotics, that it will stop working for you. So, in order to keep yourself healthy, you need to do daily practices. And one of my favorite daily practice, which I admit I haven't been doing it as much as I should be, is a good old-fashioned smoothie. If you do a traditional smoothie that you put in fresh fruit, coconut water, almond milk, whatever your choices are, but you kind of stay away from the smoothies that you would buy at a store, not in the juice section, but I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about any specific
Brand.
place, but like a fast food smoothie chain.
Oh
We'll leave it
gosh,
at that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Those sometimes carry a lot of sugars in them, but if you make one at home with frozen bananas with coconut water, you can add things in there that's good for your body, like turmeric, like celery, like lemon. I know that when I worked at Well at Earth Savers, we made these incredible healthy smoothies that it just packed all of your vitamins and nutrients in there instead of taking a multivitamin pill or taking extra vitamin C. We had this awesome smoothie that was made with orange juice. And right now, if you're in Louisiana, satsumas are coming into season, and satsumas are packed with vitamin C. So, vitamin C is one of these great things that really helps keep not just your immune system up and fights the common cold, but it's great for your skin. Have you noticed there's a trend with vitamin C serum to put in your skin on top? Well, it's just as good to eat it.
Mm.
So, in a smoothie, you can put your favorite fruits, throw in some greens, throw in that apple. Oh my goodness, we forget how apples are the simple, basic, like awesome everything. I know when I battled colitis for years, if I ate an apple, it just helped like calm my stomach down and it allowed everything to move out smoothly.
Mhm.
So, speaking of stomach issues, if a smoothie for you is like too heavy or too complicated to make, they do make fantastic new elixirs and remedies that you can just put into your shaker and shake it up and drink it. And there's all kinds of great stuff out there now
And mhm.
go ahead.
Also, you can check with a nutritionist or even an acupuncturist because not all ingredients serve everyone the same way. So, some things that are super healthy for some, like for me, apples and ginger are super healthy for some, but they're not my ideal thing to go to. So get if whenever possible, get something that's tailored to you, but also whenever possible make it yourself. That way you have full control over the ingredients and the energy going into it, you know.
Excellent, Kim. I'm so glad your microphone's working because that was a brilliant comment. Yes, I often have people ask me or think that I need to become gluten free, and the truth is I have reactions to almonds,
Mm.
and almond flour is in a lot of gluten free stuff, and almond milk and I just were friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I use oat milk, and oat milk and I are fine, even though I would prefer dairy, but that's really not good for me either.
Mm.
So that was an excellent comment. There are online allergy tests that you can take where you can prick your blood and find out what things you are allergic to, what might give you inflammation in your body. We often think it's peanuts. I
Mm.
actually read something that said that peanuts really aren't the allergy as much as the fact that they're full of fungus.
Oh.
And it's actually the fact that peanuts are held so long and they're not really cleaned on their shells.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a fungus in there that we have allergies to. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. Also I have a twin brother, and he's allergic to some things that I am not allergic to at all. So that's how unique it is, how unique our constitutions are. So yeah, it's worth it to find out what suits you best. It could change your entire diet. You
And it does change over time too.
know.
As a child, you might be allergic to it and you might grow out of the allergies.
Hmm.
As an adult, you might grow into other allergies.
Hmm.
So you really want to keep in tune with your body. When we were talking about a little bit about stomach problems, a few things that I did that worked great for me was peppermint. I
Mm.
think it's so funny because as a kid, the little peppermint, the little starlight mints were so popular at restaurants, or you'd get a peppermint patty, and I always thought it was just candy. Well, it is candy, but the original thought behind it was to help your digestive system, was to
Mm.
give you some natural peppermint oil to help. So, all those years that my grandpa, he just loved eating those peppermints, it really was to help his stomach.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, he wasn't a real sweet tooth type of guy, so it really was for his stomach. Peppermint tea to drink is great to settle your stomach as well. And another thing that I used to do for my stomach was ginger. Now, ginger you can overdo.
Mm.
Um, but I love they have now ginger chews, and
Mhm.
it's just enough that it just kind of again calms that rumble, it calms those aches. But again, you may not like the taste of ginger. It may be something that, it's not my thing. So maybe if it's not ginger, it's not peppermint, it's not maybe eating an apple, not apple juice. Apple juice is totally different.
Mhm.
But with the apple, we have apple cider vinegar. I know some of you are like going, ew. But apple cider vinegar, if you put a tablespoon in it in either hot water or regular water, if you put it in hot water and with a little bit of honey, it tastes like hot apple cider. And it's a great tea. But
Mm.
it's really, really good for your digestive system, as well as taking a shot of it at night can really again help keep things flowing through. Uh,
And
Go
also,
ahead.
if sometimes you have like something on your skin, like even if it's a bump or something, instead of taking antibiotics, you can treat it with a cotton swab every now and again, a few times a day with apple cider vinegar, a natural remedy. When I was a kid, my brother, who will appreciate this story, not had this weird growth on his head, and I don't know what the doctor prescribed because I was a kid, but my mother decided to periodically during the day, treat it with apple cider vinegar, and that eventually like burned it down, not in a painful way, but dissolved it. And that's natural, right, on the outside, and it's not putting unnecessary pharmaceuticals into your system.
My dad, he taught me the same thing with vitamin E
Mm.
and burns. So
Hmm.
if we burned ourselves, which for some strange
Yeah,
reason
don't
I'm
use apple cider vinegar on a burn.
no,
Anyway,
but
no, I know.
vitamin E, he would just take a needle and pluck a vitamin E pill and then put
uh,
that juice
yeah,
right straight on the burn, and it
yeah.
was like a miracle.
Hmm.
Another one for burns and scrapes is aloe.
Mm, of course, yes.
Breaking your aloe plant. A lot of people have aloe plants and they don't realize that you can actually break off the leaf and just put it straight onto your skin. You can
Hmm.
also juice your leaf, and aloe is a wonderful, how do I politely say, flush of the system. If you ever feel a little constipated, the drinking some aloe juice, there is a brand called St. George that I would just need a shot of that and I was off to the bathroom. But aloe is another one that really helps keep things flowing in your stomach, but also really good on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Another skin trick, and I know this one's going to sound silly, but I just did it myself a couple days ago, is I am obsessed with taking baths with honey.
Mm.
So I get my favorite, least expensive honey that I can get, and I will literally put the honey all over me and kind of rub it in like a scrub. I used to do sugar scrubs, but now I like doing it just with straight up honey. And after I kind of scrub myself with it, I go dip in the bathtub and just kind of let, that nice warm water just kind of wash it off of me. And I don't then take my soap and wash myself, wash it off. I just really kind of let the water take it off. Oh, talk about soft skin.
Mm.
Oh, if you are not allergic to honey and you have some extra stuff. Oh, I mean, it just, and the softness stays. There's all kinds of research about how fantastic honey is for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where I read, or it might have even been something that Vanessa DeLuna told me to do once. And it just is so, so soft. So I just love it. Now, of course, we know that when you have a sore throat, that you should put a tablespoon of honey in your hot tea. And when we talk about that hot tea, it really can be anything from green tea to, chamomile, whatever your preferences are. But it is true, the wonderful, wonderful qualities of honey. Honey is still found in jars in the Egyptian tombs.
Mm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of these like magical elixirs that was always good then and it is still good now. So, and bee pollen. Bee pollen is great for allergies too. That tastes a little bit sweeter, and the little fuzzy crystals are fun. I think they're fun to eat. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm kind of silly like that. But the other thing for colds, and I kind of think it's interesting that even the Mayo Clinic recommends hot chicken noodle soup.
Mm.
And as if you read the ingredients of chicken noodle soup, it has some of the basic, like really good stuff for you in it. The hotness will break down the mucus. There's celery in it. I mean, I know I take a shot of celery juice every morning because it's good for my blood. It's good to wake my system up. I've read about it several different places how good celery juice is for you. But if you are not a vegetarian, the chicken broth itself, the chicken fat in it, is got the nutrients in it that helps your body. It's got parsley in it and carrots and onions. I mean, all these are different things in your body that, when they work together, really do amplify your whole being.
Mm-hmm.
So even good old fashioned chicken noodle soup with a little bit of extra pepper in it. This is going to sound silly, but I did have a doctor tell me once to put in a pinch of pepper in my smoothies because pepper opens up the pathways to allow your body to absorb the highest good for everything.
That makes sense.
Whether it's turmeric or ginger, it's pepper that kind of opens up the capillaries that lets you in. So put extra pepper in that chicken noodle soup.
Does it matter
Uh,
like cayenne or black pepper? Does it matter?
Black pepper specifically.
Okay.
Black pepper specifically. Now, any of you from Louisiana or the South know the benefits of cayenne, that
Mm-hmm.
it just clears out that nasal like instantly, and your eyes start watering. That's another, nasal, like I can breathe freely.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes maybe a little bit too much cayenne can really, well, maybe hurt other parts of your body. So again, just as Kim said, talk to a nutritionist. Find out what's good for your body because I mean, I remember my grandmother. My grandma Nana, um, I'm sorry, my grandma Marie. She was the one who gave me the book Home Remedies, and this was back in the 80s, and I think the book that she gave me was from the 60s because it was all, typewritten on, those carbon printers. And guess what the three main remedies in this book was?
No, don't make me guess.
Oh, we've talked about them. How about
Okay,
that?
an
Yeah.
apple,
Yep.
chicken
Uh,
soup, and I mean, I could say pepper, but what would be the other one? Honey.
You got it. The
Okay.
three main things that this book talked about was the honey and all the
Mm-hmm.
different things you could do with honey. It
Mm-hmm.
talked about apples, from apple cider vinegar to eating apples, all the different things you can do with the vinegar then as
Mm-hmm.
well. It's also cleaning products. And
Mm-hmm.
then the third one that was the big one that actually we talked about was garlic.
Oh, right, 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 right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, she even suggested that we sprinkle garlic onto our dog food, which I have read in other places about that, but I've also read not to do it. So
Right,
again,
yes. Uh,
with animals,
I guess check with the vet and depending on the breed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it worked for my grandmother at the time
Mm,
because they didn't have the super cool stuff we have now for our pets.
right.
But another thing, another natural remedy that I thought I would bring up is tea. Now, we did talk a little bit about hot tea with honey, but did you know that you could take that chamomile tea bag and you can put it on a wound
Oh,
that's got inflammation and it removes the inflammation?
okay. That's a good one.
You can, if you, I had a sister-in-law who got bitten by a bunch of spiders, and she just was in a lot of pain. Even I've bitten by a lot of fire ants in Louisiana, and we threw a bunch of the chamomile into the bathtub, and
Hmm.
she took a chamomile bath. And I know there's also the colloidal oatmeal is good to calm the skin, but sometimes we don't have that. But we do, you may have chamomile. And again, we just took that chamomile bath. We threw a bunch of the tea bags in there. It really, really brought down the inflammation. And then she actually took the tea bags and put them straight on the wounds. And it really was like crazy how it just helped keep things like not getting out of control. So that was one that actually came information came to me from another medicine woman, CC Stevens,
Mm.
at sedonavisions.com. She taught me that one. One that we haven't talked about yet, which is kind of it got really, really popular, but then all of a sudden it just kind of got shut down because it maybe got a little too out of control, was coconut oil.
Oh,
Now, we were putting coconut oil into our smoothies, and I I like actually baking with it and cooking with it. Do
mm-hmm.
not fry with coconut oil, as a side note. You'll
Why?
make the
Tell us
biggest
why.
mess ever. It's not meant for high temperature frying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just a brief story. One of my very dearest friends, Blaine, he's a wonderful Cajun man, and he had come over to our house to help us build some stuff. And he was gonna make us some, I don't know if it was fried meat pies or what he was frying. And
Sure, that's good.
all I had was coconut oil. And he put the coconut oil there and it bubbled over and it made this horrible mess. So coconut
Oh,
oil
was
does
he
not
was he
fry
trying to
well.
like deep fry?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I have fried things with um coconut oil, but that's only for like sautéing things.
Sauteing you can.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
not deep
No deep
fry. No,
fry.
no, no.
No, 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 no.
Woo!
No, no,
Well,
no, no,
live and
no.
learn.
Yeah,
So
and
no
I,
frying turkeys this Thanksgiving at the
no,
store.
not in coconut oil. I mean, peanut oil is about all, that's pretty expensive, but peanut oil is the best.
Oh,
One of the
we.
great things that I did also do with coconut oil is I would put it on my hair as a hair mask,
Mm,
and it really would absorb in overnight. And my last favorite thing to do with coconut oil is to take a teaspoon or a tablespoon of it
mm.
and do what they call
Oh
pulling.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
It does whiten your teeth. I mean,
Okay.
it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I have talked a lot already about different types of plant medicines and other ways that we may not actually think to use them, but I thought maybe we could bring back Date and talk to her because you weren't able to talk to her and ask her questions when she was here. Do you think we should call her up and see if she wants to come on?
Oh
Oh, or maybe not.
no, I waited too long. Should have pulled her right in when she breezed through.
Oh no. Okay. Well, she was there. Well, let's see if she's coming back. Um, darn it. Our technology is so fun. Oh, where did you go? Well, we'll see if Day's going to come back on because she can really help us go back into this discussion of plant medicine and
Mm-hmm.
all the different forms and how it can really like help you other than just being something that we don't always quite understand. So, let's see if hopefully that she'll be able to get back on with us and we'll be quicker this time and we'll just snap her back up on.
Yeah.
uh
Like catch it on the breeze as it goes. Yeah.
yeah. But if anybody watching has any of their old home remedies, anything that they want to talk about, you can go ahead and send it to us. What did your grandmother or grandfather teach you? What did they tell you to do? Were they into the peppermint or did they put something goofy on your wounds that you had? Let us know. Write
Yeah.
to us or put it in there. Oh, did you think of something else, Kim?
No, I was just thinking how I know my grandmother used to use a lot of natural. I wouldn't necessarily say remedies, but natural ways of healing things. But I'd have to ask my mother. I know, like for example, if we got a splinter or something to do with swelling, like on my finger, she would like quickly dip it into hot water. You know what I mean, to inflame it. And I know, wow. As I think of it, as like I really wasn't paying attention when I was that young to the stuff my grandmother was doing. Because there were a few things that she healed, um, that I can't remember how, but I remember that she did heal them. And my grandmother was strictly old school from the Caribbean. You know, it was only if she couldn't heal it that we went to the doctor.
Isn't that the way it used to be?
I mean, we did go to the doctor a lot,
Yeah.
but yeah. But yeah, the two in conjunction, Western medicine and what we say, Eastern medicine or home remedies. Oh, there we go. We're gonna get her. Yeah. I'm like, get her in
Yay! I
the
just
car.
clicked it. I'm like, don't give any chances.
Like, when that road runner goes by, get him and grab him. We're not the coyote. Hello, DT. I'm Kim. I'm good, thanks. How are you? I'm so glad you came back. I was like, whoa, that's
What an awesome greeting. Hooray! Yes.
So nice to have you.
Thank you so much for coming on and not giving up on us. I thought we were out of Mercury retrograde, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Who knows? The weirdest thing.
But Kim had the same problems this morning too. So
Yes, I even had to switch the site that I use to come on the platform that I use to come on.
Oh,
Not
really?
normally I'd come on through Chrome and then I had to switch to Safari, which actually my Safari, but for the fact that I didn't get to load my background, the Safari is actually working better because my audio and video are synced where they're not with Chrome often.
Right.
Well, live and learn.
yeah.
Scintillating, I know. But,
Well, we were just talking again about plant medicine, and we started off with like natural remedies. What were some things? And so, just as a kind of a silly opening question for you, was there anything that your mother or grandmother did, any remedies that they would do that you thought were, I don't know, kind of crazy, but maybe they worked?
like, let me think about this.
Well, my mother's Filipino, and my mother and my grandmother are both nurses. Actually, a lot of the women are nurses, which is very kind of typical for California, just in general, actually. But you asked me that, and the first thing I thought of was 7-Up when you have a upset stomach. And I that's not plant medicine, but we got 7-Up. I mean, I think a hospital still serves 7-Up, right? When you have an
Yes, they
upset.
do.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I don't know necessarily if that works, but you asked me, like, what do they get? But bone broth.
Bone broth. Okay,
Bone
there.
broth.
That goes back to the chicken noodle soup bone broth. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hear about that a lot.
That is that is a very natural remedy. So yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
Is there something that you want to start with, Daytay? Because I just thought of a question that I'd really like to ask you. So
I love questions.
okay.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about this period that everybody's going through of dis-ease and agitation and just kind of stress, what are good ways like to take a small period of time to cleanse the system where we're not taking in the usual things that we take in, but to cleanse our system?
In terms of
Like
like
even if it's
herbal.
like yes, yes, herbal, anything that we ingest, even if it's just like a 1 day thing, just something to get whatever it is, that energy out of our system.
Water.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, in the simplest way, water. Water is life, literally, foundationally, I think, and it describes all water in itself and its essence. Kind of speaks to those things that you were talking about in terms of cleansing the body. Drinking lots of water. The less complex. I mean, water is complex, right? In the sense of it's yielding, yet it's powerful enough to carve into stone, right?
Yes.
And it finds its way. And so, yeah, water is huge. And I think I mean, we talk about it a lot in society, but I really think in our daily lives, it's somewhat overlooked.
Okay.
So water's really good. Fruit would be second. As far as herbal remedies are concerned, and it's actually something specific with fruit, like like citrus,
Okay.
orange. Those are very citrus fruits are very cleansing to the body, and also it's an additive. And the reason why water's good is because there is no additive to it, meaning you're not getting vitamin C, you're not getting vitamin D. You're literally cleansing. I feel like that's the difference between sage, something like sage, and Palo Santo. So like sage, like is cleans, right? It cleans, but it also fills in, right? So it's just not a cleaner.
Right.
No, and Palo Santo is it just kind of cleanses, like it clears, but it's not adding as much as sage into the space. That's kind of like,
what is Palo Santo?
it's a wood. I'm actually wearing a piece of Palo Santo on my neck.
Okay. So is it sometimes burned, like how, okay. I understand. Actually, now that I recall, Rachel introduced me to that a few years ago. Okay, good. Okay. So what are the properties of it, you wearing it against your skin? What are the benefits, I should say?
I get an aromatic blessing anytime the wind blows. So when the wind blows, I can smell it, so that brings me into presence. So it does clean all the external debris like around me and just brings me here. And it's really lovely to have that, just walking down the street and to have the wind blow through and then hit the Palo Santo and it, it's right up there. Yeah. So
is that, do you know, beneficial to dogs, say? Like to your pet dog? Like to wear around their collar? That just occurred to me, so I thought I'd ask.
I love the question. I haven't thought about that. I love it. Well, I often, actually, just this morning, my mom has dogs, and I know anytime I go out and come in, they're smelling me, right? That's what dogs do. They sniff and get really excited about all of the different kind of adventures of the outside world, and they get to participate in that through scent, through aroma. And so I don't know if it would have the same centering effect. I think it might invigorate a bit more because that's what smells invigorate. They excite dogs,
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Our canine friends.
Well,
but crystal may do something. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good idea to think about. Future idea of things that help our pets. Yeah. Why not? Because they give us such love and life. So excellent. Thank you, DT. I mean, I know I asked you the question, but the back and forth is really helping.
You have is that, maybe it's you have on, at least on my screen, your conchi, your third eye is lit purple.
And it's lit purple. No, that's because first of all, I have a little help there, and also the light that's shining on me is a faded pink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For those of you who thought that was natural, okay, I'm glad it looks that way, but it's TV, baby.
It is. You look like an otherworld, you are an otherworldly being in so many ways. I can already tell, but literally, I'm like, whoa.
Oh, we love our Kim. Yes.
Well, I do generally have an oily forehead, but that's not what's working right now at this time of the morning, folks.
Oh, that's so funny.
But that is cool. That's really cool.
You did good with that. So we didn't get to have a full discussion last time you were here, and I thought maybe with Kim here that there was two things that I wanted to ask you about. One was a little bit about what you recommend or how you feel about chocolate, cacao. Yeah, because I was fortunate enough to get my first cacao ceremony with you, and it still resonates with me today. And that was what, 5, 6 years ago? I still think about those lessons, and of course, I've got to do several others with you later. how do you feel about cacao?
I love cacao.
Like you've been waiting for her to ask this.
I mean, I've been obsessed. You know, did I have? No, I don't have it in the room with me. I love cacao. I'm really happy that it's been elevated so much within the last really like 2 years. I think, yeah, just kind of it's blown up. Um, but it's a wonderful, wonderful facilitator in terms of mediating relational, uh, in terms of mediating relations with others and then with the self. So, yeah, I love cacao. And now there's so many different types of cacao on the market and that are available. I think that I know Rachel knows that it's like, you know, I'll get very like pedantic and orthodox about what is called ceremonial cacao and what is actually ceremonial cacao. So some of that wisdom's been a bit watered down or misrepresented. Like, for example, if you get cacao, you get raw cacao. That's not the same as ceremonial cacao. Ceremonial cacao is not raw, but you may find products or you may find other, you know, facilitators using cacao and that cacao is raw, and that it's not the same. It actually doesn't produce the same effects either in terms of the efficacy. Like, and it's supposed to enable facilitation, and raw cacao won't do that in the same way. Actually, I would just say it just won't do it. That's my experience, but also and it's experience of other calcateras, which is someone that has cacao in their medicine bundle or the cacao carrier, and they use it to facilitate, you know, any type of individual or group work. It's called like a curandero is what you call a shaman that is leading ayahuasca. And cacao also has a similar name, but instead of curandero, it's calcatera. So,
That's so cool. So
Yes.
it's so okay. You just actually answered a question that I had in my head because I really have wanting to try the. They now have ground cacao to drink instead of coffee in the morning, but I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if I can handle that energy every morning of that heart opening wowness because it is pretty super fantastic. But what you're saying is that that's still different than ceremonial cacao. That's
absolutely.
it's going to have all the good benefits of cacao. It's not going to make you jittery, it's going to taste good, put your cayenne. I like it a little spicy, like the Mayans taught us. But I don't have to worry that I'm gonna be out here like I am with ceremonial.
So when you say out here, you mean like from the heart or and not the head? What do you mean? Tell us. Because last week we heard from Sharon that the heart is the brain. So I want to know really where we feel these different things. So cacao, you're saying
From the
from
heart.
the chest, from
Yeah.
the okay.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
very
heart
interesting.
opener. Yeah.
So
Good question. Yeah.
So people who are say allergic to chocolate, I mean, what a bummer, right? But can they do they have to stay away from cacao?
Yes.
You see, that's one of the things I'm told to stay away from, and of course, I don't 100%, but okay. So, is there an alternative to the cacao for the same effect?
No.
Oh,
I love it.
No.
Directness. Yeah. Sorry, Kim.
awesome.
You know, there's other things, of course, for heart opening. I don't want to, I have something to throw out
Okay.
there. It's a company actually that just thinking about my experience. It's a proprietary blend, so it's not one thing specific, and I don't want to give you the wrong herbs that's in this proprietary blend. But there are things that other herbal blends that you can take that will have a similar effect in terms of heart opening and uplifting.
Right.
In terms of the self-inquiry that cacao, supports, because it does bring your heart open, and it's helping to facilitate, like I said, facilitate relationships, and also the relationship with the self. And part of that, the foundationally for both relationships with the self and others, is self-inquiry. And cacao helps to kind of pivots our attention to look within. And you look at that inner world, and you're like, well, how is my inner world affecting my relationships? So what am I doing to, there's tension in this relationship, there's conflict, and cacao will help you on that journey to discover self-inquiry. So
yeah.
the blend that I'm thinking of, it doesn't do that, but it is a heart opener.
Okay, that part that you mentioned, though, the self, that I love that, because so many things, virtually everything that we think is against us or not for us or making us unhappy, it really would help us, wouldn't it, if we first looked at, well, what's my part in this? Because that's the part we have control over. So yeah, okay, I like that. That's excellent information. Thank you.
Yeah.
So eat your chocolate, people. Eat your cacao. Eat your cacao.
In your chocolate, you can do just do a cacao in the morning, non-ceremonial cacao, to replace, like, you can blend it with the cordyceps or lion's mane if you're trying to replace caffeine.
Yes,
that was my next question.
Okay, can you ask that, because I have a question.
No, go ahead, Kim.
Well, what happens if you blend lion's mane with caffeine?
Ooh, I've done it. Some people. I mean, there's product. I think there's products out there that do that. You can get a coffee blend with caffeine with these functional mushrooms like lion's mane.
I did that this morning.
Yeah,
well, I don't often drink coffee, but when I really need a boost for the day, I drink coffee now with lion's mane mushroom powder, and it does actually help me. And so I've been attributing that to the coffee, but coffee actually agitates me. Makes me not such a great mood. But I find that this blend is okay. So I'm glad. So that's why. So far, I don't do it every day.
Yeah.
What would you recommend with the lion's mane as a morning drink?
I like a blend. So it would be my favorite blends. There's 4: lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, and then reishi. And reishi is really important. And then cacao, not a ceremonial cacao, but a cacao. Navita does a pretty simple cacao that they sell, cacao powder. So I like those, and that's lion's mane in terms of concentration and focus. Cordyceps is just a lift. I mean, it's kind of like if you put enough cordyceps in your morning brew, you almost don't need the caffeine. But hey, let's right? You don't need it.
So I just want to mention, everyone, we're going over in time right now, but that's okay. We're going with the flow, and this is a good flow. So if that's okay with you, Rachel and DT.
Yeah.
Absolutely okay. Let's go.
Date. Yeah.
Forgive me.
Keep going.
So that's a powerhouse, but the reishi softens it, right? So definitely reishi, it calms the nervous system. It's great for our lungs. You just think of reishi is like the breath work of fungi, or at least these blends, right? They use reishi for in research in Chinese medicine. They've used it for a very long time um, uh, to address as a medicine for a remedy for lung issues. So,
Okay. So
so
actually, we're going into the season, cold and flu, and things that affect our lungs, and also with obviously the pandemic. So that's very good for natural healing. This is great, great, great information. Oh,
uh,
fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic. Thank you.
Mhm.
If
Okay,
I
go
can
on.
get you to actually after this write your blend down, we will post it down below.
Yes.
What these actual mushrooms or functional mushrooms are that you're
Mhm.
talking about. Because even I'm like, oh, I got to take this down.
Mm.
You were talking about other blends that you do.
Yeah. Wow. There's so many. There's so many. There's immunity proprietary blends for immunity, specifically. Turkey's tail is
Mm.
often used for that. Lion's mane's always good for neurological health. So you
Okay.
can kind of just throw lion's mane in everything, you know. Um, let's see. I think turkey tail is my.
What is do you have a recommendation for people who are going through, say, chemotherapy?
Hmm.
I mean, this isn't to replace any doctor's information, people, just
No,
making it
no, no,
clear that
no.
we know
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
We know that. But go ahead, Date.
I think I don't. I'm so rigid on these things. I'm like, I do, but let me look at something first.
See, I love this. Okay, this is called responsibility. I have to really give it up because we did say at the beginning of the show to check with your nutritionist, to check what allergies that you have. And my heart is swelling right now because Day-Day's just doing that right now. She knows what would work maybe for her, or maybe she's done it for a past client, but she's responsible in self-governance that she doesn't want to put something out there and it not be appropriate for you. So I am going to take you off the hook on this question. And I'm going to throw you to a whole nother realm, but actually, we're going to stay with this mushroom talk because, again, I really feel like the mushroom is so misunderstood. I personally believe that the mushroom, if you look at ancient art, was the forbidden fruit in the Bible. If you
Mm.
look at the original artwork, they're holding a red mushroom shape, not an apple. I mean, because if you really think about it, even crab apples are good for you. So, and
And
they were
fruit.
red with white spots on them, which
Uh,
is very interesting to me. So, and the mushroom, of course, isn't just something that we eat. I mean, we pay hundreds of dollars to have truffles, right? I mean, these are uber expensive mushrooms. And we are now finding proof of the mushroom relative or the fungi, is it the mycelium that's within all of the trees, and that's the communication
uh,
underground.
mhm.
So, these are just my random thoughts about the mushroom. Date, what do you feel in the next 5 minutes? Because we will keep it at an hour. What do you feel that the mushroom has, or the fungi has for us humans?
The blueprint for all life on the planet.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I led you into
Just
that,
that.
but yes.
uh,
Oh. Mm.
it colonized. Oh, yeah, my big. There's a community of people that kind of look at the fact that we've found mycelium fossils on um, pieces of asteroid. I'm like, asteroid? Is that the word?
Oh, meteorites.
Meteorites. Sorry,
Mhm.
meteorites. Yeah, we found there's mycelium fossils on meteorites. Now, this is speculation. So that mycelium is non-terrestrial, which means it's out in space as well. It's floating out there in space, and that part of Earth's history is that mycelium came down onto the planet, and it's not just the mycelium though. It is also the Earth, what was already here, but the interaction between mycelium and the essence of Earth, is what created life here. So literally, like the blueprint for life on this planet. And also,
I need my gong, to hit it right now.
it's
And
really,
also,
I mean, it's just, yeah, that. And another thing, so that's the beginning. Let's talk about where we are now with mycelium, is that we are still finding different types of mycelium, or what you want, mushroom bodies, right? We are still discovering, we haven't discovered them all. And there's a movement right now to investigate how entheogenic mushrooms have been used in indigenous culture over time. I think, Rachel, you had mentioned about the red mushroom. There is a lot of research into looking into that. And part of that reason is connected to the first story, the origin story, because we're researching how entheogenic mushrooms affected the evolution of the human brain. And
define that word for me, entheogenic. What does that mean?
Psychedelic.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's entheogenic. Yeah. Entheogens, so is the actual word of, and it doesn't have to just be mushrooms, of course.
Here's a weird question. Is it possible that there are new things entering the atmosphere as opposed to things that are already here that we're discovering? Like, do we know the difference between the two?
Well, we certainly have the technology to discover that in terms of like having, new things introduced into the environment, that are, other terrestrial, that are not native to Earth. Yeah.
Right.
And then there's the possibility, and we also the information might not be shared with us, of course.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
this is huge.
I think we had a meteorite hit Russia, right? Maybe within the last decade, that big meteorite. And I don't know, I didn't look into the investigation of it. Like, are we, and it's always a researcher. It's like whoever discovers it, what they're looking for. That's the information we get,
Yeah. That's brilliant. I mean, you are saying things that are just thoughts that I kind of connected in my head, but really to look at it as, well, an otherworldly form that literally came onto our planet to connect our consciousness.
Yes.
And it is known that that's how the trees communicate.
Yes. That's how the Earth communicates.
Yeah,
yes.
You can watch National Geographic, and they got shows, and they show you how the trees are talking through it. So, is this something that is modern research, or is this something that can we experience this?
The mycelium network?
Yeah.
Oh, I certainly have experienced it on my own journey with entheogenic mushrooms, the mycelium network. But yeah, we can experience, I think, I don't want to go too deep into how we communicate with plants, but I'm going to assume that some of the audience knows some of the experiments and research when it comes to our the way that we think that our thoughts, that plants are affected by our thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of research on that. So, I mean, that is a way to connect with our modern technology and tools. It's like, this plant is connecting to my thoughts. And we don't have the tendrils of mycelium coming out of us, but again, we could draw conclusions and we could just be imaginative, right? And say, well, if mycelium is a part of our evolutionary growth here as humans, perhaps there's something within us that also has this mycelium fossils in our cells or in our blood or in our bones, so that plants, they're our relatives, right? I mean, from an indigenous perspective, they are our relatives. And so yeah, we can learn from this. We can absolutely learn from plants, and we can be in conversations with them. And whether or not mycelium is responsible for that or not, I can't say, but I can certainly say that we can be in conversation, and we can experience the plant world through those dialogues, through tending to plants, because plants are not just our allies, we're also their allies. I think that's why when we commune with any type of plant ally, one of the first things that comes to mind is to protect the earth, right? It's like they're working through us, to be a steward of the planet. I always find that really interesting,
Okay, we've gone over now, so we're going to wrap this up. But
I think she just did.
Yeah.
It goes back to the whole earth. And that is the ultimate natural remedy, is connecting to the plant, connecting to earth, to being a steward of the earth. And what a brilliant statement to end this conversation, which we could continue on for hours. And obviously, this is only the beginning of it. But to say that is truly what it's all about. There is research that we know that music changes the way plants grow. We used to think it was Vivaldi was the best, but actually they proved that rock and roll is what the plants like, because they like the rhythm, they like the beat, they like the vibration. So maybe our communication is our voice. Maybe we need to talk to our plants when we're tending them and we water them. Maybe we should tell them how good looking they are. Ask them how they're doing. And we don't listen here. We listen here. We listen here, right?
Yeah.
And we get to see what it is that they want, what it is that they need. So this has just been an amazing conversation. Kim, I'll let you say any of your closing thoughts and comments.
Well, no, I have really nothing to add to that. It is a great conversation. We can continue it forever. And forgive us, audience, but I hope we can continue it a bit after our show ends. So it goes. But I hope everybody got so much out of this. And thank you so much, Daytay. Thank you so much. Okay, this was fantastic information. Thank you, Rachel, as usual, for being always the facilitator.
And always, please follow us down below at Way Chill Living and subscribe to our channel, as well as email us any questions or thoughts, or anybody else who you'd like us to bring on and talk about, any topics you're looking for. You can find me at waychilllife.com, and you can follow us on Instagram as well. So, after saying that, we will say till next time, and we hope that you have a beautiful moment of now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.